Hi guys, I'm really excited for this, next video tutorial that I'll be sharing with you. I'll be making videos on Vue Essentials. So Vue is a really a nice framework that I've learned a couple of, let me say, years back, and I've grown fond of it, and I really like it. And I hope that after watching this, if you never heard of it, you like it the way I do, or if you have and you're just reminding yourself with some few concepts. I hope that you find this content really helpful to you with your quest. So, without further ado, I would like to start with giving you overview of what Vue is. So this video I intended for really beginners who never heard of Vue.js. So I would like to take them through the essentials of Vue, basic concepts, core concepts that can help you to build your foundation firmly. And for those who are actually maybe aware of this framework and who like to enhance their skills. I would like to, of course, further explain this. I hope you really find this helpful. And so, without further wait, let me first explain briefly what Vue.js is all about. So, Vue.js, the first time actually I read this framework, then the writing was different from how it is pronounced. So it is VUE, and if you are supposed to read that, it will be read differently. But in the industry, it's pronounced as Vue. So that's Vue.js, and so these descriptive sentences I actually extracted right from the official documentation. So Vue.js is a JavaScript framework for building user interfaces, and I'll add more than user interfaces. The feel will really look more than a nice, and I hope you'll see how actually this comes into play when we start building real applications. And it provides a declarative and component-based programming. So you could have heard of a couple of frameworks like React, Angular, and many others that are centered around the idea of reactivity. So the entire web application is made up of smaller components, and the idea is that only particular section of that web page updates when certain things happen. You don't want the entire web application to update every time because that will impact on the performance. So this is a really key feature. The reactivity is very important, and we're going to look into this just shortly. So Vue is well suited for simple and complex designs, and it doesn't matter whether you have a very complicated design. As long as you master the basic concepts of Vue.js, you can implement any design that is presented to you by your design team. In case you are working, with a big team where you have um, a design team that designs the wireframes or the web pages and forward them to you. So Vue is very scalable, so you can start with a small application and later expand. So um, I'm going to show you. Okay, let me just explain the reactivity and declarative rendering of Vue.js with a very basic minimal example. These are extracted from the official documentation. So uh, when you look at this on on my left hand side, we have the the script or the JavaScript code. So the simplest Vue app starts with a simple import of the create app function, and then you import this from the Vue library, and then you call this function, passing it an object, which is actually okay. So this is taking okay, so we're simplifying really this. So in this create app, we're passing an object which has the data function where we're defining some reactive properties that can change during the life cycle of the application. And the property here is the count. So count will be updating itself in the template. So, and of course, after defining our data properties, currently we have, but in the next videos where we're going to dive deeper into this, you'll see that you can actually do more things inside this. You can declare properties like so, and then you can create methods that operate on these properties. And there are so many various type of properties. You can create simple properties like this: strings, lists, um, objects, and many others. So you have to mount this up onto a base template. So most cases, you create a div in your template, and then you give it an ID, and then you mount this Vue application onto that template. So whatever it's going to do, it's going to be inside that template. So when you look into the right hand side, this is exactly what we have here. So we have the base template as div, ID as app. So inside this, we have a button. um, so this button is simply counting this variable here, count. So what happens is whenever you click this button, the variable count is incremented by 1. So you click it the first time, it will display 1, the second time 2, and so on and so forth. So this is a minimal example. And from here, you can see it is it's declarative and reactive. So what is fun about this is that whenever uh like you okay, you can see really the concept of reactivity in such a way that when this count changes, the component that has that variable count gets updated. So this will be very important when we have a big application where we have subcomponents declared in others, and you have pages and the different components, because uh, whenever count changes, only that subset that has count will update, and that will really impact on the performance if the entire page has to render. So this is a minimal example. We're going to see so many more of this, and I'm quite sure if you have never seen this before, you're going to appreciate it. So where do we apply Vue? Vue.js is applied in so many fields and so many, real life scenarios. One will be enhancing static HTML without a build step. So there was a time I started actually working on my Django application, and I wanted to, you know, uh, embrace the power of Vue.js. All I did was to embed a Vue application on the static HTML pages rendered by Django. And that was very great because Django already has templating style, which is so good, but incorporating that with Vue makes it really perfect. And that's a very good thing. So you can do that with many more other things. So you can use CDNs instead of so that is the idea of build steps. So you can embed CDNs into your static HTML files instead of creating a full single page application which requires a build. Then you can also embed as web components on any page. You can do that, or you can build a full single page application just using Vue.js. Then you can also do full stack, which adds to server-side rendering. We're going to learn about dedicated, we have officially maintained plugins or libraries that are meant for this, like Nuxt.js. So that helps you to achieve this server-side rendering as well as static side generation, this Jamstack. So we're going to look into especially server-side rendering using Nuxt.js. You can also achieve this using Nuxt.js. So you can do this in pure Vue.js, but that will mean a lot of work on you. So I will suggest you learn further in future. If you start scaling and you're looking into multi-page application, then you'll have to look into Nuxt.js to port. But after actually this essential, I'm going to make a special video series showing you how to port your Vue app into Nuxt app. So The last but not least will be targeting desktop or mobile, WebGL, and even the terminal. So you can use Vue.js for all that. So um, we're going to summarize with very important aspect of Vue.js. So Vue comes in two API styles. There is the options API and the composition API. So the options API is almost similar to what we have just looked at here. So whereby when you define, you create your Vue instance or a component, you'll be creating options like you have data, you'll have another option methods where you define your functions, then you have uh, different view hooks that are called at different life cycles of the view application instant. But the idea of option API is really if you are from object-oriented programming languages like Python, or you have let's say Java. So you learn that the idea is that you have properties that are created, and then you have methods that operate on those properties, and you'll be using the keyword like this dot something or this dot something. So it really embraces the idea of OPP, I mean OOP. Then on the other side, we have the composition API, which is really far different. So the composition API, on the other hand, for it, you have um, you declare a global um, variables, and then you later on define logics that operate on those variables. So it's and you learn in future that the composition API is gives you like more control, and it is more recommended if you are really going to scale up your application too big, and it's going to be heavily relying on Vue.js. So you'll have to go with composition API. But the option API seems to be quite easy and simple to learn. So for newbies, it is highly recommended to go with options API. But there is no bias against each one of them. Actually, at their core, they quite resemble, and the option API is built upon the composition API. So I wouldn't say choose any, but select the one that you feel is quite easy for you. But I advise that you learn the composition API, because when you go to frameworks like Next.js, you'll find that there are a couple of things that are complex ideas that you easily implement using the composition API and then the options API. So having said that, I'm going to show you guys how to set up a basic Vue application, and we'll run our first Vue application. So I'm going to take you straight up to the official documentation of Vue. So you can see here that the main requirement for running a Vue application is Node.js. So if you haven't installed Node.js before, so anyway, actually, sorry for heading straight up here, but let me show you. So if you want to go to the Vue.js official documentation, simply search for Vue.js in your browser, and then go on to this first link that you get here. You can see vue.js.org. So when you click on that, you can go to get started, and it will bring you right straight up here. And we're looking into Vue 3, and that's what we are focused on. So when you come to quick start, now, like I said, if you don't have Node.js installed, please click on this, and this will take you to a link where you can get the latest Node installers, and you can download them for your um, operating system. So I'm running right now Windows 11, so But I already have this installed, actually the latest version, so I'm not going to do this. But for your case, if you have an installed Node, please do so. Download this, install. It's going to install for you Node.js and the Node package manager npm. So once you have installed it, to verify that Node is working quite well, just open up your command line or command terminal, uh, or simply terminal, depending on the operating system you're running, and type node version. I think that should do it. So we're running 18.16. Actually, you can see this is the latest, the long term support version. So there is this one, the current one, but doesn't have that support yet. So, but you can try it out. Right. So once you have Node, then we can install the Vue client using this simple npm command. So I'm going to, but what you're going to do is, first of all, create a folder where you're going to be keeping all your programs. So for my case, I've created a folder that I call, okay, let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to create a new folder. Seems like I can't see the folder that I needed. I'll call this Vue Essentials. So then navigate inside here. So inside this folder, I'm going to run the command line. So I type cmd in my this upper path entry field. So when I enter, it's going to pop up the command line inside that folder. So now this is where we're going to do our little magic of initializing a new project. So I'm going to copy this link, I mean this command, npm init view at latest. So, and I paste it here. So what this command is going to do is going to install the Vue client if you don't have it already, and then it's going to initialize a new project for you with fields that you can enter during the creation process. So I'm going to enter that. Okay, so it's asking, you need to install the following packages, create Vue at latest. I'll just select yes, and then proceed. And it has already installed. So we're running the Vue Progressive JavaScript framework. So it's asking for the name, the project name. So I'm going to name this uh, Vue Hello World, and I enter. So it's asking, do you need TypeScript? You can say no or yes, depending on your choice. I'll leave it to the default. Do you want to add just go with the default for this. Then for the view router, do you want to add a view router for single page application? Go for yes. So select yes using your arrow keys on your keyboard. Then add Pinia for state management. Uh, you could do this, but I prefer Vuex. Anyways, let's just go with the default no for now. Do you want to add this for unit testing? Let's say no. And add end-to-end testing solution. So I just go with default no. Do you want to add ESLint for code quality? Go with yes. This is very good for highlighting and showing you where you have errors and so on. So um yeah, you can add yes here for code formatting. Yeah, so we're really done with that. So after completing all that, Now we're going to run our first app. So all you have to do is change directory to your newly created Vue application, Vue hello hello world, and then install the dependencies npm install, run this command. So this is going to install all the necessary node packages that are required to start up your Vue application. This should take a few minutes. I'm going to fast forward this. Okay, so the installation has completed. Now I'm going to first of all clear up this, and then now to run the development environment, run the command npm run dev. So this is going to start the development environment and run it on your local host. So this is where it is. So you can open that link on your favorite browser, and there it is. So we have successfully created a first app for Vue.js, and you can see this bunch of content here. Um, Showing you the documentation link and so on. So you can check out these links and to read about this. So in the next upcoming videos, I'm going to show you how to change this content and create very impressive content using what we've just done. So thank you for watching. So please subscribe if you haven't yet to keep up with all the new videos that I'm going to be delivering onto this platform. And please like the video, leave your comment. You can tell me how you feel about the delivery, and I'll really greatly appreciate it, and improve where I need to. So thank you guys, love you, until next time.